Good morning, YouTube. Still morning, 45 more minutes. This is Los Angeles Prepper. How are you all doing? Hopefully well. Today, we are going to talk about, get a little closer to the camera here. We're going to talk about how to make money, a few different ways that you can make money, save money, be more frugal, not just for prepping, although I'm talking about it on a prepping channel, but for life, but also for prepping for an uncertain future. Now, some of these methods might work post shit hits the fan, some of them might not. It would actually be kind of an interesting video to look at all of these in a shit hits the fan situation. You know, could you get well, anyways, let's just get right into it. Okay, so number one, full-time job. Not that awe-inspiring of an answer for number one, but it's nevertheless something that I think should be on the list. I don't know if anyone watching this video has swore off full-time work. It's not all it's cracked up to be, but it does have certain advantages. Obviously, stability, things like benefits, health insurance. It can make it easier to do things like get loans. You want to buy a house. It's easier to show the bank that you get these W-2s than all the receipts from your private business maybe. But who knows? With QuickBooks these days, maybe private business proving that they have income for the bank isn't a big deal. Probably not the best example, but the point is there's definitely advantages of having a full-time job. I'm not really going to go into that, but so number one. Number two, making or selling something. Now you don't have to be a professional craftsman, but if you could make a knife, if you can make a little basket, if you could make a wagon, if you could make a hat, make a shirt, pair of pants, whatever it is. You can make an invitation, make a cake. You can met somebody the other day makes cakes, started his own cake making business, right? Pretty cool stuff. So you can make a lot of stuff. You don't have to be, master maker at anything. I would at least, if it's like your first knife, say you're selling your first knife online. At some point in my future, I will sell a knife that I made online. I don't think I'm ever going to be a professional knife salesman, but just because, maybe just for the novelty, maybe just for the novelty alone, and that's kind of a terrible reason, but if only for the novelty, at some point in my future, I will sell a knife online. And I'll talk about the knife if I know about what type of steel it is or what type of wood the handle is, but I'm not going to try to sell it like I'm a professional knife maker. I'm going to say this is a homemade knife. I would probably say that it's my first attempt, although that'd make it really hard to sell. But God forbid something happens to the knife, I don't know, 30-day return policy or something, right? But point is, look, don't try to go build somebody a house if you're just, if you don't know how to build a house, but you can produce a product at any variety of standard, as long as I think as you're kind of upfront about what the standard is, you're not, putting anyone in overt danger by what you're making. I am currently working on a top secret mission to improve my manufacturing capabilities, and I can't say much more about it right now, but I'm working on it. Number three, flipping. Now, number three is kind of a type of what I'm talking about in number four, but I'm listing it separately because it's something that really anyone can do. Now, are you going to be paying all your bills by flipping stuff tomorrow or next month? No. Even if you've spent the rest of this year trying to become a full-time flipper, you might just not have what it takes. And that doesn't even mean that you're not good at math or you don't understand value or You could be really good about buying stuff frugally. Flipping is as much about kind of getting lucky with the market, so to speak, and making really good business decisions as it is about buying or selling this item or that item, at a particular good price. For example, you could be really good at working on cars, and you could get a car for $500, put a few $100s into it, and it could be worth $1,000. You could do that all day, but keep in mind, if your profit margin is $300 a car, which is kind of a terrible profit margin, but let's say that it was hypothetically, you would need to do 10 cars a month to make $3,000 a month. Well, maybe you don't need to make $3,000 a month, but point is, even if you are able to do it and able to make money, to do it consistently, it takes a certain amount of commitment and resources and luck and everything that kind of needs to work right. For example, if you're not making a lot of money and you're trying to start a flipping business, if you're not turning over your inventory, you're just coming, out of pocket for all the stuff you're buying. So if you buy $100 worth of stuff and sell it for $150, you're doing all right. You'd prefer to sell it for $200 or $300, but whatever. If you buy $100 worth of stuff and you sell $50 worth of it and the other $50 doesn't sell, and then you say, well, okay, maybe I just need to get some more inventory, and then you take the money to get more inventory, and then you're sitting on more inventory, and maybe you only sell $10 or $20 more of it. I mean, some people get to a certain point where they're just buying inventory, and they're not selling enough. Not necessarily because it's overpriced, maybe the market's oversaturated, who knows. So, not an easy business. I've done it here and there a little bit, made money on most of the items that I've flipped. I've been stuck with a few things that just don't really sell, like I don't know, I paid $5 for a box of ties, and I don't think I've sold one of the goddamn things. So, here and there are little mistakes like that, but has it been helpful in making an extra buck here and there? Yeah. Have I quit looking for full-time work because of my flipping? No. It's a tough market. A lot of other people doing it. When things are used, even if they're in really good condition, people aren't willing to pay necessarily really top dollar for it. So, you have to buy stuff for ridiculously cheap, have it be in really good condition, put minimal amount of effort into it, and then sell it for a really decent price, and do that several times per month at a certain value, making several $100s or several $1,000s per transaction to really replace your full-time job. So, very fascinating thing that I definitely recommend people always have an eye out for. Items that might be flippable, properties that might be flippable, businesses that might be flippable. I think it's a good way to create value, but not for everyone. Definitely challenging stuff. Number 4, side jobs. Handyman's kind of my side job / full-time job right now. I don't have other types of side jobs. I used to do kind of other random stuff, like office stuff for people, or maybe what else? Like, I've done weird side jobs, like delivering stuff for people, office stuff for people, like, I don't know, like random gigs, like working at a concert or something like that. Random friends will work for different whatever temp companies. But mostly I do stick with the handyman stuff because, I have a skill set, and it's kind of a specific skill set, and I think it's a little bit easier to focus. But at the same time, sometimes I wonder if I need to branch out and, try to do a little bit more, a few different types of side jobs, I don't know, get into power washing or garage door installing or something like that, right? And I don't really want to mess with power washers, and I don't really want to mess with garage doors necessarily, but something along that line, another type of side job, even tree. I've been thinking tree removal or tree trimming. A couple reasons that I like tree work, right? It doesn't require an inordinate amount of gear. If you avoid the real big projects where you're, 30, 40 foot up in a tree, if you're kind of sticking to what you can work on, like a 20-foot ladder, and the pieces are small enough that you can haul them off by hand and throw them in the trailer. Doesn't require too many thousands of dollars of gear, you know. You do need a trailer. That's probably the biggest reason that I'm not doing it right now, is because unless I partnered with someone with a truck to haul away stuff, which wouldn't be a terrible idea, I just don't, I could rent a trailer for the day, I guess. I don't know, I don't know how professional it is showing up to a job with a U-Haul rental trailer as part of your professional equipment. I don't know if people really care. Maybe I could tell them I do it to cut costs, I don't know. But it's actually a really interesting point. Would you care if your tree trimming guy showed up with a rented wood chipper or a rented budget rent-a-truck or something, I wonder. Anyways, side jobs. A lot of different types of side jobs you can do. Look at Craigslist under gigs. That's where you'll kind of, I'll admit, if I was going to do a side job tree trimming thing, I suppose I would want to have a website and some clients and pictures of work that I've done and interesting stuff. I don't do landscaping. I've thought about landscaping too, but the thing is, you need so much stuff for gardening, lawnmowers and weed whackers and, trimmers and all that darn yard waste takes up a lot of space. I only have the SUV. I don't have a pickup truck, right? So anyway, side jobs. Number 5, sponsorship. I am not currently sponsored by anyone other than a couple nice donations, but I'm going to talk about funding in one of the upcoming topics here. But I think sponsorship is a really cool idea. It's great for a couple of reasons. It's great because not only does it give individuals a chance to get products at a reduced cost, the people that are sponsoring these products, but I think it's a really cool way to connect people that are in the industry where they're using a product to a source. For example, if you have a guy riding motorcycles and he's endorsing K&N air filters, for example, or some type of shock or spring, like Fox Shocks, okay? Then Fox Shocks knows that by his sponsorship, he's going to, be in and around the community of people that are riding motorcycles, for example, So rather than just putting an ad on TV or in a magazine where you have some amount of targeting towards your desired audience, with sponsorship you can say, okay, here is a hatchet, I'm giving it to this guy who's doing bushcraft or survival or prepping, and I know he has this many followers, I know he's going to make videos about doing stuff with a hatchet and whatnot, right? So it gives you a really, really good chance to get focused in on knowing that you're going to get some kind of outdoor exposure rather than just a 30-second commercial of, oh, here's a guy with a Fisker's axe and look at this big lumberjack chop wood. Okay, well, that's great, but how many people are you going to connect with that, right? To some actor getting paid to pretend to be a lumberjack. So I think sponsorship offers a real cool opportunity to get products into the hands of people that use them in real-world environments. Number 6, crowdfunding. As you probably know, I have experimented a little bit with the crowdfunding thing. 2, I guess a very, very modest success in terms of hundreds of thousands of dollars that people crowdsource, but it still means something to me. It means a lot to me, actually. Thank you, Hooples and Christy Castrellon. Crowdfunding, you can use various platforms. GoFundMe is more of a diverse platform more flexible, I should say. All this coffee is making my stomach upset. I don't know, sometimes you just drink I didn't get it down the wrong pipe or anything, but so there's GoFundMe, which is a little more open. You can do all sorts of different campaigns. There are other sites like Indiegogo or Kickstarter, which I think originally were more related to kind of startup business type things, but I'm sure in recent years they've developed into different types of campaigns. I want to go on a trip, I want to do this thing, I want to, whatever it is, right? Artistic, whatnot, whatever, creative, all manner of donations. So don't just think that GoFundMe is the only campaign. I'm sure there are even more than Indiegogo and Kickstarter. There's probably dozens of campaigns. Now, I don't necessarily recommend, if there's 10 fundraising websites out there and you want to do X, right, or raise X amount of funds, I don't know if I would, sign up with all 10 sites, because you only have so much energy and you only have so much audience too. So imagine, who knows, maybe there's 100 people that are all willing to give you $10, right? So you get $1,000. But if you spread out, and let's say your goal is $1,000, if you spread out that across 10 websites, you're going to have 10 different websites with $100 out of 1,000 on each campaign, rather than one website with 1,000 out of 1,000 completing your campaign. So don't spread yourself too thin if you're looking for some crowdfunding. I would consider doing it potentially in steps, depending on the nature of your project. For example, I might do another crowdfunding campaign for camping or hiking in the future, but I'm starting with this modest one so that I can do the modest one, show that I'm sticking to the plan of what I'm doing, that I'm staying in touch with the community, that I'm making videos and sharing about these things that I purchased through the GoFunding, so that, a couple years from now, I can say, if I am looking for some bigger thing, right, that, oh, here was a previous one that I did, and here's how it got funded, and here's some stuff that I did for the community, etc., etc., and or, here's the hatchet, here's the water filter, here's the adventure pass, right? So crowdfunding, I think, is a really cool way to achieve your goals. It's not right for everyone, but I do think that it has a lot of really cool possibilities. I was not necessarily expecting, I don't know what I was expecting from my crowdfunding. Really cool stuff. I definitely recommend putting at least a little bit of time and energy into it if you're in a financial situation where, a little bit of outside help could make a big difference in your life. Number 7, along that line, donations. I did separate it out. And let me do a quick time check here. Okay, I'm going to try to wrap this up the next few minutes. Donations, I separated out because I see crowdsourcing as sort of I have a goal and I want to bring a bunch of people together to complete a goal, maybe a more complex goal, versus a donation is something like, oh, I need a camp shovel. If anyone wants to donate a camp shovel, that'd be great. Like Die Bullfrog 79. Thank you for the donations, Die Bullfrog. Very thoughtful of you. I will and continue to do my best, and I do. I know I should have it on my bedside, but you have to keep in mind I like to keep my stuff very organized, and that's pretty accessible as far as my stuff's concerned. Boy Scout Handbook. Okay, this is, in fact, you want to know something funny? I remember this method from the Boy Scout Handbook. The hold a stick to the object and then hold the stick sideways and then walk the distance that you're going sideways. And to get distance of an object that's very tall or far away or inaccessible. Man, I could get so distracted just looking through this book. And yes, Die Bullfrog, I am reading through it. I did actually look at the section on maps and getting lost, especially in relation to the younger gentleman getting lost in Yosemite recently. So, donations, my only advice about donations would be try to be specific about what kind of stuff you might need and or how it's going to be useful for you in the future. For example, I talked about the camp shovel. being useful because part of certain California fire restrictions are that if you're going to have a campfire, you need to clear an area and you need to have a shovel with you while the campfire is going. So that just happens to be a California regulation. Obviously, having a shovel around you to work with the fire is a good safety measure at any rate. But just be specific about the donations that you're looking for and what they're going to go towards. And you know, don't be too shy. I mean, there's going to be a certain perhaps trepidation from, you know, giving your email and personal address out to people you don't know and stuff like that. But look, unless it just depends on what you believe about humanity. I believe that even though there is darkness in the world, that most people are not like that. So, you know, that's how I live my life. I'll let you choose how to live your life in regards to sharing, you know, personal information about yourself. Moving on, Barter. I just actually updated. Did I update a post? I think I did. You know, I haven't recently done as much of the Barter stuff. I really should. You know, I have a little bit of handyman stuff to barter, maybe moving, labor, organizing, you know. I've tried bartering advice in the past, unsuccessfully. Unsuccessfully, but someday, YouTube. I recommend it. I actually just emailed a guy. Oh, he has a dual sport, really pretty motorcycle. I don't want to show you the ad because it's kind of near where I live, but at any rate, bartering. You never know what people are willing to trade for you, service-wise, product-wise, IOU-wise. You know, who knows? Who knows, right? Just think about it. What skill do you have? You know, if I let's say your fence, let's say you had a house and your fence broke, and I said, hey, let me come help you fix your fence. What would you have to offer me? Doesn't have to be something amazing. Could be fixing some clothes, could be baking some food, could be maybe a little bit of tutoring, maybe for a student in school, could be some organization, maybe a little bit of labor, maybe you have some power tools. Like, let's say Prepper Bob needed me to fix his fence and he wasn't sure what he might have to barter. He could say, look, I have some power tools. If you need to do any woodworking or chop up some stuff, maybe I could let you borrow my saw and drill for a couple days, whatever, right? So you can kind of get creative with what you're trying to barter. Prepper Bob also has a trailer. I guarantee you, if he said willing to barter use of my trailer for 4 hours, he would probably get the worst jobs in the world. Like people that want to move enormous amounts of concrete, people that want to move boxes and boxes and they're only half packed. It would probably be a disaster, Prepper Bob. But let me tell you, if you had an electric car that you could run a trailer, if you had a little electric car that you could move a trailer around and shit hits the fan, be a little FedEx, shit hits the fan FedEx. I tell you, it would work. Okay, this video is getting way too long, so I gotta keep going. Number 9, training and education. I actually just made a website recently, and I know there's gonna be people watching this video that find this highly hilarious, but I do have a training and education website section on the website, and I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what the website is, and I'm not going to tell you because it's not ready yet, and I get enough haranguing from the public, from the general public, for my normal activities like chopping wood two-handed, like all professionals chop wood. You should see me hammer a nail, do it the same way. But we're going to have a store on the website. We're going to have training and education. We're going to have events, national events and local events. We're going to have a little blurb about yours truly. We're going to have a way to contact LA Prepper. We're going to have a blog. We might even have some interviews. We might have some challenges. We're going to have some homemade stuff. We might have some shit to sell, some t-shirts and hats and bandanas. And look, I'm really anti-garbage, okay? I'm very, very anti-garbage. Not going to be selling garbage unless I'm just selling that piece of garbage as a purely comical, satirical commentary on selling garbage online, okay? There might be a little bit of that, like, I don't know, ultimate survival kit, it's like a pack of 3 lighters. I don't know, right? But anyways, there is a website, it is published, it is public. You might be able to find it. Probably wouldn't be that hard. It was a free website. Oh Lord. Oh Lord, we're having problems. The water is dripping down on the AC. Oh, this is a goddamn disaster. You know, I should do a GoFundMe campaign for a bucket so I can put under my AC, because this thing, unfortunately, and forgive the segue, feel free to stop the video and move on with your daily lives if you don't want to hear this segue, but so this thing was all tore out, right? Because it was dripping water in my apartment. And, you know, I'm going to update you all later on this, but gosh darn it, this piece of junk. So, and in fact, you might have just snuck a glimpse of the website if you were sneaky there. But I'm going to wrap this video up. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know really quick a few things. One, what kind of items have you been looking for as a prepper that you have not been able to find? Either the quality isn't there, the price isn't right, it's not customizable, it's not exactly what you're looking for. I'm really, really curious. You know, I don't think that selling stuff on my store would ever be able to pay the bills full time, but you know, I have some time and energy and I'm looking to get into some custom manufacturing. So if there is a type of product that you would be interested in purchasing or using and it doesn't exist, or it doesn't exist in the form that you like right now, let me know. Let me know. I'll see what I can do. If there are some skills that you would like to learn, that you think would be valuable, that you would like to get some training for. Look, I don't have training, you know, I don't have a lot of official training in any capacity, but I'm thinking about offering some basic classes, not in things like, you know, firearms or something like that. I'm not licensed or certified to train in anything like that, but really, really basic stuff, not tying, maybe basic outdoor skills, building shelters, building fires, working with ropes, lashing, you know, making simple structures or something like that, like a stretcher or a ladder or a teepee or something to hang a stove on. Anyways, kind of really basic skills. Might be more of a video series, there might be some PDFs, might be kind of a comprehensive thing, might go along with an online thing. You know, I don't really know how it's all going to evolve, right? Hopefully it will evolve and not devolve. But until next time, let me know what you think. I know this is a very, very long video, and I'm sorry, but I just kind of had a lot of things to cover. Like, comment, subscribe, and keep prepping.